A big hello and a very warm welcome to a special mentorship mini-series called Starting Up with Ronnie Screwvala. In the last few years, we've seen India take giant strides when one talks of entrepreneurship. In fact, every leading newspaper today cannot afford not to cover this community. Starting up today is in vogue, unlike, let's say, a decade ago, when most people would have thought that you're starting up just because you're not qualified enough to get a job. And while the scenario is truly encouraging, we're also surrounded by a lot of people who are unsure, apprehensive, fearful, and a little underconfident to walk out of their jobs and build something of their own. But for those who have been brave enough to do so, the journey still seems long and daunting. So this is really ET Now's endeavor to not only celebrate the individuals who have managed to get out of their comfort zones, but also provide them a platform where they can interact, question, and be mentored by one of India's most celebrated entrepreneurs who's been there and done that not once but several times over. I'm talking about none other than Ronnie Screwvala. Now, Ronnie Screwvala is a man who really needs no introduction. His entrepreneurial journey is an inspiration, to say the least. Founder of one of India's largest media and entertainment conglomerates, UTV, Ronnie Screwvala's journey pans from cable TV to toothbrush manufacturing, from theatre to media and entertainment. So who better than Ronnie Screwvala to address and mentor individuals who have embarked on their entrepreneurial journey? Thank you so much for joining us, Ronnie. Truly a pleasure having you on the show, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's time for a short break, but coming up, we have two very dynamic entrepreneurs who are going to talk about their startups, and Ronnie, of course, is going to address some of the challenges they're facing in their startup. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Starting Up with Ronnie Screwvala, and now it's time to turn the spotlight onto the second entrepreneur, and for him to take center stage, that's Sahil Dharia, founder of Soothe Healthcare. But before I throw it to you, Sahil, let's just take a look at Sahil's backstory and what he did before he founded Soothe Healthcare.
Hi, I'm Sahil Dharia. I'm 36 and I started my first business in healthcare trading generic drugs at 22 while I was still studying at the Zicklin School of Business in New York City. I made some money, but with an economics degree, I couldn't keep away from Wall Street. Then moved to Reuters on the derivatives desk. Reuters sent me to India to set up the team here over a decade ago. The thrill of building and scaling up high-performance team just didn't compare with a stable job in New York. So I chucked my green card and moved to India into leadership roles. But after 12 years of MNC experience, my entrepreneurship roots started calling out and I quit as the global head of operations at Reuters. The healthcare sector in India is on a double-digit growth trajectory with plenty more to come. My co-founders and I strongly felt that solving India's healthcare needs isn't as much about importing the million-dollar machines from New York, London, as about providing simple, affordable, scalable solutions to the masses. With that disruptive vision and seed funding from a marquee investor at bulge bracket Wall Street Investment Bank, I founded Soothe Healthcare with initial investment of $1.5 million.
Well, now that you've heard Sahil's story so far, let's throw it to him and let's hear about what Soothe Healthcare is all about.
Soothe Healthcare is a consumer healthcare company. We manufacture and market consumer healthcare products. My first product in the market, our flagship product, is Paree, brand of sanitary pads, where the product is endorsed by a celebrity, Saina Nehwal. We did a test launch in certain select markets. We are in Pune and Cochin. We're also now on leading e-commerce portals in India, and we are growing rapidly. I have my own manufacturing facility. We can make 225 million napkins per annum, which takes me to revenue about 80 crores. That's my capacity.
But today you're at?
We're at 2 crores right now. And
so how many states are you in?
We are in 2 cities. We did a pilot in Pune because of the demographic, lots of colleges, young girls, which is my TG actually, and Cochin, a lot of good hygiene practices.
So are you doing only direct marketing, or you're with distributors in stores?
Distributors, FMCG, traditional model.
So how many stores are you in?
We are in about 3,000 stores in the retail FMCG sector, 12 supermarkets, and all the leading e-commerce portals, and we're doing pretty good on each one of them.
So what are the challenges facing you?
The challenges facing us are which way do we lead geographical expansion? We are at a fundraising stage, Series A, and we're talking to several investors, and some of them actually challenged me and saying, why only 50 crores revenue next year? Why don't you go national and go big?
Yeah, I think we jumped 2-3 things in one, and I just sort of step a few steps back. You said 2 crores.
We're at 2 crores now.
Okay,
yes.
so any investors telling you why aren't you at more than 50 crores next year, I think you should sideline him and say, we'll meet after 5 years or 3 years and not get involved, because otherwise you're going to get into a mess. The second is understand that you're getting into a consumer-facing business where there are large multinationals and large corporations that have got large marketing budgets and a lot of distribution heft.
Yes.
So you're competing with that permanently. So to a certain extent, you definitely need to go at it step by step.
Right.
My first question to you, first as a question, would be, what according to you is your distinct advantage?
We are 20 to 30% cheaper than the leading competitor.
So why is yours more affordable?
Because, well, so I have scale. We choose to be able to price ourselves at the affordable place, which is 20 to 30% lower. Because, well, as per our survey,
do you have a cost advantage versus your competition?
No, they're 10 times my size, so I don't have a cost advantage.
So you don't
but I do have scale. I do have scale. We are one of the largest suppliers to the government. That's why we went into that space to run the machine, get the costs down. So I'm not a first timer. So we do have
that supplier to the government would be more for the rural market.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's for the rural market.
Right. So that'll be heavily subsidized.
It's subsidized. Yes.
So that is actually the B2B part of your business.
B2B,
because the customer's not seeing your brand.
Correct.
That they're consuming it. It could be a white label brand for the purpose of what you care. So
Absolutely.
So it's a good story, but it's not helping your big story.
Yes. So
and how much of your present business is government?
About 60%.
Okay, so that I think is your big challenge.
Yes.
So you should take your base at 80 lakhs consumer facing
Right, absolutely.
out of 2 crores and figure out how you're going to build from that, just to be realistic.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
So 94% of the people we surveyed said that they find they are users of sanitary napkins and they feel it's expensive.
Yeah.
So we know that at that age group, and they are looking for a value purchase. So this is where we position the brand and the value that way.
So what is going to be your biggest investment going forward to get to scale, according to you?
Media. We need to get our brand out in the public domain and be able to shout it out.
I would caution it on one sense that first, if you start raising money and then you decide, now I've got the money, now I know how to spend it. The caution is this is once you get it right, it is a less risk-free business than many other businesses.
Right.
But if you get it wrong, it could be a slightly bit of a zero-sums game mostly, because you'd have spent all that marketing, and if it doesn't go off the shelves, it just doesn't go off the shelves. You've got a double whammy. You got zero returns for your marketing, and you got stuck inventory. So I would say that distribution and placement is as critical for you today as marketing and media. I mean, when I think Nirma took on levers in that context, it was as much a distribution success as it was a cost success, as it was a marketing success.
Correct. Got it.
Good luck.
If you don't get funded, credit to ET now.
Happy to.
But the end of this edition of Starting Up with Ronnie Screwvala. Hope you enjoyed the show. Next week, we'll be back with 3 more dynamic entrepreneurs, a fresh set of problems, and of course, the man himself, Ronnie Screwvala. I'll see you next week. And until then, chew on this. And as they say, it's never too late to go out there and start up.